All right, can somebody give me an audio check, guys? All right. Our audio's good? Perfect. All right, so how did we do today, guys? Was everybody green, or at least close to green, really green? How did you guys do? Yeah, it was a crazy day in the market. You're hearing double? Orange. How do you end up orange? Paper trading got you. Yeah, I mean, guys, even if you were red today, don't stress it too bad because I mean, there's been some absolutely killer days that I've been red and I've been seeing people around me just absolutely killing it. But as day traders, sometimes it's we just take the wrong trade and it can kind of screw the whole day up. Um, yeah, overnight holds, that's with it being Monday, a lot of times with overnight holds, the theme kind of switches up a little bit on us rolling into the next week. Um, 6 days profitable in the Webull, that's awesome. Um, so I got some questions planned out that I've already received here that I plan on going over with you guys. Um, and while I'm doing that, you guys feel free to put any more questions as well. Um, did I hold sixth overnight? I don't know what sixth means. Green as spook, yeah, that's it was a really green day for me too. Um, ended up banking right at 73,000 today on some scalps and day trades with the volatility that we had. And you guys have been following my Twitter this past little bit. Then, as you can see in 2021, the profits that I've been posting daily have been significantly increasing and getting bigger and bigger. And there's a reason for that, and I'm going to go over that today as to why that is. Will I be doing another 500 to 25K challenge? Um, Potentially later in the year. I feel like right now the market is really hot, and the strategy that I'm doing that I'll go over in a second, I'm really enjoying it right now with using really large size and banking the huge profits each day. But maybe when it gets a little bit slower, maybe towards summer and more overnights become a thing, I might do another one of those challenges. Um, on average, how long do I hold winning trades? That really varies on each specific trade and kind of the sentiment of the market, that we're in any given day. Like if we have follow through on any given day, then I'll hold the trade as long as the follow through and volume's there or until my price target is reached. But if we have a day that we don't really have any follow through, meaning that I've been watching all kinds of plays just
take a big hit, then I might have to start scaling sooner than I would normally like. Um, let's see. When you're watching for a stock to bounce a given support level, when are you entering? Watching 5 minute, 1 minute, or looking for next candle? So I would say about 80% of the time, um, I'm on the 5 minute chart. I just really enjoy the 5 minute chart. I feel like it's easier to read. I feel like the moves that happen on the 5 minute chart are more significant. So therefore, I stay on the 5 minute chart primarily. What I like to happen is I like for there to be a stock and some sort of trend on any given day. And if we can identify an uptrend, then if we have, a couple red candles in a row that's, not the huge red knife candles just going straight down. If it's just a couple red candles and we start consolidating a little bit, or we just go down and touch one of the EMAs, such as like the 20 EMA, is a great line to look for, then that's kind of when I'll take a pullback entry and I'll start loading up on that. As long as, it's not a stock that hit maybe like $1, and $1 is a big target for a lot of these penny stocks. If a stock hits $1 and you're met with a huge red knife and you drop back to like something crazy like 80 or 75 cents, I might not take that pullback. But if you hit $1 and you drop back to like 95, 93 cents, then I would be interested in that pullback with a stop loss at 90 cents. And and that answers another question that I think popped up. Do I trade with a stop loss? Yes, I trade with a stop loss. Not every stop loss is going to be a hard stop. Sometimes it has to be a mental stop depending on how the stock behaves, but there's always going to be a stop loss. Um, let's see. How to decide when to set a tie or a loose stop or no stop at all. Yeah, like I said, it just depends on uh, the stock itself, kind of how it moves. Like if it's having like really large movements in between a channel, then I probably wouldn't put a tight stop loss on, and I would look for some sort of overall support line that you can identify, like what's your line in the sand? Like if you can look at the 1 year, 1 day chart and tell me if it breaks below this level, then the play's dead. You can go ahead and put a hard stop there just to protect you if worst case scenario hits. Um, Thoughts on Mara, MARA? Yeah, so Bitcoin stocks pulled back today. Bitcoin took a little bit of a pullback. Um, so I would wait for Bitcoin to start ramping up again before I would be interested in Mara. The last time I looked at Mara, I think it was a little bit higher, meaning it was like, I think it was around $20, maybe even $30. So I would like for Mara to get a little bit cheaper again. That way the risk reward is better, meaning we have more room to move toward previous highs and potentially break high of day. That way, even if we don't break high of day, if we get it when it pulls back and it's cheaper, that gives us more reward for the risk that we're taking, because we can at least have a range of where we're trying to get to. Let me catch up on some of these questions, guys. I do trade pre-market, but I certainly don't get up at 4 a.m. I don't trade on Webull. I trade on TD Ameritrade. And for me, it's just, I see no value for me personally to get up at 4 a.m. Um, because I prefer to sleep in until about 8. And I just trade better well rested if I can sleep till 8 and trade pre-market when all of the major brokers are open. Because at 4 a.m., the only brokerage that I know of that's open is Webull. So the moves are going to be much easier manipulated. So I just like for some of the major brokers to open before I stop trading or to start trading. Top two brokers. So dare I say Thinkorswim. That's the broker that I use. However, Thinkorswim does have issues of its own. Almost I don't know, maybe 3 times a week lately, it seems, at 9:30 AM, thinkorswim goes down and it won't execute any orders. It won't let you buy or sell anything. So if you're holding something through the opening bell and it's 9:30 in the morning, um, you might as well just be praying with thinkorswim and hope for the best. Uh, this morning I was holding, actually it was ZOM through the bell, and thinkorswim went down and it wouldn't execute any of my orders. So it was a real scary situation for a while it opened. But I think thinkorswim's one of the top brokers. Um, and I hear some good things about E-Trade with good feels. I know I have a friend that trades on TradeStation. Um, Brad, Mullins Momentum, he trades on TradeStation. He says they have really good charts, but they give him absolutely terrible feels. And, there's times that I've heard him talk about that a stock will give him like $5 or $6,000 in slippage, meaning when his stop loss executes, then it won't sell his shares until like way down here. So he takes the hit on the trade if it does hit his stop loss, and then add on like an extra six, sometimes $7,000 commission. So every broker is going to have its problems. CLOV, I'm actually not in that. I haven't looked too much in it because, I focus primarily on intraday moves, just all day trades. So I'm really not swinging anything. Yeah, and I'm 99% day trades. There are times that I will do an overnight or a swing, but 99% of everything I trade is a day trade. Um, let's see. Um, so yeah, I use the trade ideas scanner. Actually, there was a good question that someone tweeted. Let me see if I can find it because I had plans to go over this question. Um, I actually retweeted it. Let me just go to my page. One second, guys. Okay, so Chuck Norris actually tweeted this out. It'd be sick if it was the real Chuck Norris. Um, how do I find my trades and make decisions so quickly? So again, the way that I find my trades on any given day is going to be through trade ideas, and I'll show you a quick little shot of that right here. So this is the trade ideas scanner, and this is the intraday setup. Um, so all of the gainers intraday are going to be right here on this gainers list. And this is what I'm looking at 70% of the time. I'm looking to see kind of what's on that gainer list and what's actually moving. So that's how I find my trade. Well, most of my trades. That's a good source as to where I find them. Um, what program and setup do I use to organize my trades? I'm not really sure. Like I trade on Thinkorswim with TD Ameritrade, and the way I organize my trades is I see where the volume's at, what's hitting my volume scanner, and then I just switch over to the actual chart and I find my entries and I go really heavy on just a couple trades at a time. I know several people have been um, yeah, like just right here. What percentage am I using? Guys, a lot of times I'll go all in on a trade. And, I've talked about this with you guys a lot lately. And this is what I've been really hitting in 2021 is go in heavy with your money. I mean, what's the purpose of ever growing an account and having a larger account if you're not going to use it? Like, let's say you have, I don't know, a $10,000 account and you're only using like $2,000 on a trade, then what's the purpose of having a $10,000 account if you're not going to be using the money? Um, like I'm trading right now personally with a $300,000 account is what I'm trading with currently. So, If it's a trade I'm confident in, if I like the setup, if I don't like the setup enough to put $300,000 in it, then why would I put $5,000 in it? If I don't like it enough to, put my entire position in it, being reasonable, like if it's a large enough float, if it's not like a sub 1 million float, if I'm not going to go in heavy and manage the trade, then, what purpose is this account doing me? Um, Now, when you go in with size, I mean, people say, you're risking so much of your portfolio. Just set your stop loss at a logical level on the chart that you're only going to lose like a very small percentage of your account if it goes south. But if the trade works in your favor, let's say you take the trade and it moves 10%. On this example, if I'm all in, then I've just increased my total account balance by 10%. So, I mean, to me, it just makes sense. If you guys want to make good money this year on your trades, then you're going to actually have to use your buying power, trade with stop losses to protect you in worst case scenario. And that's the secret, guys. Um, let's see. Um, okay, how did I use a day trade style when starting with 500 to 25,000? So obviously, on that, I was allowed 3-day trades a week. And, that is kind of a drawback, but that does force you to be more picky on the trades that you're going to be taking. You can't just take any random trade that you feel like looks good because XYZ person said whatever about it. Um, you have to actually identify the best possible setups that have the best risk reward ratio. So when you're taking trades and you're trying to grow your account, then you want to make sure that there's some range for you to actually make a decent profit if it's going to be worth one of your precious day trades. Because when you only have 3 a week, you have to make them count. So identify proper setups and try to do as many overnight trades as you can. So there's nothing that says that you can't do an overnight trade every single night of the week. If you find something with heavy volume or it's in theme and it's closing strong, then overnight it and try to catch the move the next morning in pre-market. Sell your shares at a profit. You didn't burn a day trade, and that keeps you active in the markets while you only have 3-day trades. Um, let's see, SNDL. Yeah, so SNDL had a nice little range of movement today. This morning in pre-market, I think it hit 86 cents. And then, we got hit with the pullbacks. And then periodically throughout the day, we had nice little spikes in it. So SNDL provided some nice volatility and volume today. And that's going to be a stock to keep on your radar for days to come because as more and more states move to legalize marijuana, then SNDL is going to be a hot ticker to trade and it's going to provide moves. And I do think very soon SNDL will probably be trading above $1. Um, so if you go more on the day trade side, then you can trade it several times intraday. It provides nice moves for that. Or if you are more of a longer term swing type. Are we good, guys? And can someone tell me if we're good? All right, sweet. No, I don't short sell. I mean, I can't tell you about the future, because I mean, I never know what the future holds. But for right now, I can tell you I'm not interested in short selling. But with IGC, it got hit with that news today that they came under some heat with the SEC. So take IGC off your list for weed plays. So yeah, if you are swinging IGC on the weed run-ups, then I would consider getting out. I mean, I can't tell you guys what to do with your trades, but if it was me, I wouldn't be swinging IGC um, on a weed run-up right now. Um, When did I start day trading? I started trading in 2018. That was when I started taking my first trades. Um, let's see. Um, how do you determine your max loss if you go all in? Well, there's a couple ways that you can do it. One, set your stop loss at a level that you're not going to lose an amount that you're not comfortable with losing. So, a lot of times, when I take a trade, then I already have it in my head, okay, I'm either going to lose X amount of dollars or I'm going to make X amount of dollars. And if I already know that going in, then there's nothing that the trade can do to surprise me because if I'm taking the trade knowing those two levels, I'm either going to lose this amount or I'm going to make that amount, and I'm okay with both of them, then that becomes a stress-free trade because either this is going to happen or that's going to happen. No curveballs because I would have a stop loss set in place. Um, how many trades do I do daily? I truly don't know. It's a lot. I scalp a lot of trades. Um, I think I maybe traded 20 different tickers today, something like that. But it's different on any given day. I don't do a bracket actually. I just set a stop loss. I don't really trade with a bracket. Um, what setup do I like best in this market? Kind of what I've been doing lately is, seeing what theme we're in. If you think about it, guys, there's a different theme every single week, sometimes day to day in the market. For instance, on Friday, here's what happened. As you guys know, the Capitol building was stormed. A bunch of rioters and protesters or whatever they were doing stormed the Capitol building. That caused a little bit of panic in the market, and a lot of plays started selling off. But then the riot plays, such as DGLY, VISL, and plays of that nature, they started gaining traction. And that's the theme that we were in at that very moment because XYZ was happening in the world. So now riot plays are a topic of interest because there's opportunity there. So what I've been doing lately is I'm looking for what's going on in the world or what theme is on the upgapper list and kind of what we're in. And I'm using that to determine where my focus should be. And I'm finding trades that have volume in that sector. And I'm just loading in with heavy size, slapping walls on the breakout, or I'm loading up dips as long as it still looks good. So that's what's been working for me lately, is just loading with heavy size on relevant plays each day and riding for the moves. How did I learn to trade? Um, so, a lot of it was experience, trading for a while, but I credit the most of my education to trading to Brad Mullins. He really taught me the most about the markets and really helped me the most with trading rules, what to look for, and how to be a disciplined trader. So, and we were friends from high school. It's not like he has some course out or anything like that that he's selling. We were just friends from high school and, knew him in my personal life. So that's who got me squared away for the most part. But again, guys, I mean, a lot of this you learn through experience and time in the markets. I mean, once you've been in the markets for a few years, then you start to learn how stocks act and how they move and what you should be doing. And the longer you do this, if you guys stick around, then your emotions are going to go away. I mean, you're going to be pretty emotionless in a trade and it's going to be a lot better. Um, so I went on a tangent a little bit there, but the third part to this Chuck Norris question, how do I manage so many fast moving trades at once? Um, Again, time in the markets, experience, and usually I'm only in a few trades at a time. I trade a lot of stocks each day, but I'm usually never in more than a few at a time. So I can watch those couple trades that I'm in very closely, and it's a lot easier to manage if I'm only in a couple things at one time with heavy size. So then when I capture the move, I can take profits, which will be a lot bigger than if I'm in a like 10% of my portfolio in something. I make like, for instance, guys, what I'm talking about, um, this is one trade right here. Um, so the ZOM trade, um, it was relevant today because, I think there was like something Carol Baskins or whatever the Tiger King lady, whoever she is, said. So it made ZOM relevant. And, I traded it heavily today. And on this one trade, I locked in $21,390 on this one stock. And that was, only one trade that I was looking at today. I don't tell you guys that to try to be boastful or brag like, oh, I'm making X amount of dollars on whatever trade. I'm telling you guys this from an educational standpoint. If you guys want to grow your accounts and make money, um, you're going to have to trade with size in a smart manner. I'm not telling you guys to go all in at any random level on the chart. I'm telling you, if you find a pullback level or if it's on an EMA or something logical on the chart, load up with size, set your stop loss just a little bit below that. Even if your stop loss is triggered, you're only going to lose a very small amount if you set your stop in the right place. And let's say that your stop is hit and you lose the trade, and you're like, oh my God, I lost this trade. I lost a day trade, lost a little bit of money. That's okay because it was only a little bit of money. You protected your account to trade another day. You got some experience in, and you took the risk. Let's say that it worked in your favor and the stock ran. Then you guys would have been so happy because you're actually in a trade with size and you're going to be making more money than if you only put a few dollars of the trade in and don't even care about it. Um, Mental stop or actual stop. Um, that it's different for every stock, and it depends on how disciplined that you yourselves are. I mean, if you can set a mental stop and actually execute it, then that's great. You just have to be aware that sometimes a stock could put an offering out and it would completely demolish the stock before you would even have a chance to sell. In those situations, the hard stop would have protected you and filled your shares out. Um, Other than volume, how to identify a good ticker for a day trade? Other than volume, then I kind of look for what theme we're in. Again, are marijuana stocks moving? Are Chinese stocks moving? Are Bitcoin stocks moving? And once I know what theme we're in based on the other stocks that are moving, then you can just go to like finviz.com and just do a quick search on FinViz for stocks in that same sector to put your eyes on. And it does help if you've been trading for a while, um, and you do know some of the stocks that like to run. Um, let's see. What percentage are pullbacks versus breakouts? I would honestly say it's about 50-50 at this point. Like if I see a stock getting ready to break out, then why wouldn't I slap it? I'm not afraid to slap the breakout. And if I slap on a breakout level and it doesn't go and it is a small pullback, then I'll add the pullback and I'll double up right there. I'll try the breakout. If that doesn't work and it's still in trend, then I'll add the dip. And then when we get closer to the breakout, I'll have more shares at a lower average this time. And that's kind of how I play it. Um, let's see. Um, so what indicators do I use? I can definitely tell you guys the indicators that I use, but I don't know exactly on every stock when I entered and exited because I traded a lot of stocks today at a lot of different entries, and I mean I don't remember every single entry for every trade that I did, but I will show you guys my indicators that I use, and I'll kind of explain them a little bit. Um, So we'll just stick with ZOM again because this is the one that I have pulled up, to be honest with you. Um, so this green line right here, that's going to be your 200 SMA. And that's a great target a lot of times. If the stock hasn't reached the 200 SMA, then a lot of times that's a great target to shoot for. But we're already over on this one, so that is a bullish sign. This yellow line right here, that's going to be your 50 SMA. The blue line right here is your 20 EMA. The purple line is the VWAP, and the red line is the. All right, guys, we're back. Sorry about that. My Wi-Fi is acting kind of busted tonight. I'm sorry. Um, so yeah, the red line is the 9 EMA, and this blue line is your 20 EMA. And here's what I'm talking about: a nice dip buy on a logical level. So I'll kind of walk you guys through this a little bit as to what I was looking at. So at open on ZOM, it had like a little panic moment where it just really wicked down to some low levels and then it shoots back up. It comes back over your VWAP, your 50, 20, and 9. Um, so, you shoot back over that, you consolidate right here, and then you go up again, make new highs. Now, here's where you're looking for a pullback entry because now we know that we have the volume today. The opening bell proved that. And if you look down here at your volume indicators, we certainly have the volume. So now we're in an upward trend after open and it starts coming back. Now it perfectly touches this 20 EMA right here. This is a great dip buy opportunity on the 20 because it's a stock with volume, it's in an upward trend, and now you come down and you have the first test of the 20 EMA. I buy that 10 out of 10 times. So you can buy here around 80 cents, and then you can capture this move from 80 cents to 95 cents, which is a nice little move right there, guys, in itself. I mean, it's very short, but from 80 to 95, that's a nice little move right there. But there's really no sell signal all the way through, and then you get the next volume spike, and then you do hit that dollar price target that I put out on Twitter. Um, so one second. Um, yeah, sorry, that's the 5-minute chart. My phone was glitching out too. I couldn't switch back. But yeah, I decide my entry based on the chart and level too. I'm reading the volume all day long, and I'm definitely watching the chart. If a stock's losing volume, do you stay until your stop losses hit? Yeah, I would recommend that because sometimes, your volume can drop a little bit, but if you're not met with like huge selling volume, then there's really no reason to sell because, it's impossible to just continuously have accelerating volume all day long. You're going to be met with a little bit of a volume decrease. As long as you're not met with hard selling volume, then you're all good. But yeah, until your stops hit, ride the trade out. Um, let's see. Um, so yeah, I did sell my ZOM position. I put the $1 price target out, and we did hit that. So I took my profits there. Um, and 80 to 95, I wouldn't have taken all of my profits there because, if it hits, okay, this is just how my mind works. I'm not saying that this is like absolutely going to happen every time. Um, this is what I do on a lot of trades, and it works out a lot of the times. And it's just knowing how certain stocks move. But on this one, if it hit 95 cents, why wouldn't it hit a dollar? Um, so that's kind of a lot of times what I have in my mind. Like if I'm looking for a break level, like if something hits 37 cents, why wouldn't it do 40? I'm not saying that that's sound technical trading or some science that you can study. That just comes through reading level 2 and the volume and really knowing the chart. So yeah, that's for me, that's why I wouldn't have sold all at 95. Yeah, whole numbers. I mean, it's just psychology. Um, do I have a strategy for position sizing? So I like to buy in a pretty good amount at one certain price, like maybe half of my account at one price. And then if it does hit me with a pullback, then I can just start adding in the other half. If I don't get the pullback and it comes up to the break level, then I want to try to be adding on that breakout price, like right before the wall is smashed. I want to make sure I can get the rest of my shares in. That way I have a full fill. Because the last thing that I want as an active day trader, meaning, I'm trading all day long and I'm closing positions at the end of each day. The last thing I want is to, be in a trade and have some of my money just sitting there laughing at me, not invested in anything. It's not making me any money if it's not in a trade. So I want to make sure I get good size on what I'm going in. Um, let's see. Um, I'll buy the ask usually. I mean, unless it's something that I think will pull back a little bit and I can get filled on the bid, then I'll place some bids in. But primarily, I'm just buying on the ask because if there's something that I want, I'm not going to let a trade pass me up over trying to get it for like 1 or 2 cents cheaper. Because if I'm trying to get in, then I obviously think that it has a good range to move. So I don't want to miss the move on trying to save 1 or 2 cents. 1 second. I get my caffeine in. Um, what size are the individual buys? Um, yeah, I can go in with 150,000 in one trade. I had at one point today $300,000 worth of ZOM. Um, so usually what I do is Thinkorswim has little buttons at the top of my active trader with share sizes. Usually I just keep clicking 20,000 shares until it won't give me anymore, until it says order rejected. That's how I do it. And I'm disciplined enough that I'm never going to let myself bag hold something into a big loss. I think the biggest loss that I took today was maybe $4,000 on a trade. And $4,000 is $4,000, but on a $300,000 account, $4,000 really isn't that big of a hit. When I'm making 21,000 on a trade. So it's just that's the risk reward that I'm talking about. Like you can go in really heavy, and if it does work against you, like for me with my account size, I might lose a few $1,000s, but I'm okay with that. Losing a few $1,000s with the opportunity to make $20,000. It just the numbers add up in my head, and that's what's making me money right now. And it's a proven strategy, so I think that's how you guys should really be doing it. Now again, I mean, if you're not comfortable with that risk, I mean, if trading with larger numbers is going to stress you out and make you nervous, and you can't focus on the trade properly, and you start trading your P&L, then maybe you're not at the level in your trading career to trade with heavy size, and that's okay. I mean, if you're newer traders, I understand that the emotions are really high and it can be scary with those large numbers. And if you don't know what you're doing, sorry, it's been a long day. If you don't know what you're doing, you can certainly blow up an account quickly going all in on every play. But if you do have discipline, if you're buying at logical levels, and you're comfortable with it, then the only way to increase your profits is to increase your share size. Because as day traders, our goal is to make the most money possible in the least amount of time possible. If you're a long-term swing holder or investor, and you're okay with letting money ride for a few months, then sure, throw a few dollars here, a few dollars there, check it again in a few months and see what happened. Let's see. How do you set your stop loss? Yeah, for me with Active Trader, I just click on whatever price that I want my stop to be, and it puts it in for me. Let's see. Um, how can I get in and out of the same stock in one day? Um, I'll trade it as long as it's in pattern. I mean, I don't care to like buy something, sell it, and then enter back in even higher than where I sold. If it's still setting up, if I think the stock is going to go higher, then I'll try to find any little pullback that I can, scoop shares back up, and catch it for round two. I'll trade the same ticker all day long if I have to. Um, for instance, like, yeah, I mean, I'm above 25K, so I don't have to worry about PDT. That is a luxury that I do have being above PDT. But, again, when I was below PDT, I tried to trade stocks that I thought would have the best potential to give me the most bang for my buck. Like if I was going to use a day trade, then I wanted to make it count. Um, for instance, like I'll show you with ZOM, I traded almost 2 million shares of ZOM today. Um, and obviously, I don't have a $2 million account right now. So I had to trade it in multiple times. I would buy as many shares as it would give me. And I would catch the moves along the way. And as long as I thought it would look good, I would buy the dips up and ride it again. And that's just day trading. That's the art of day trading. That's how you do it. Let me catch up on some of these questions. What motivates me? Um, so for me, income was never the motivator to trade. Now, obviously, when you become a good trader, then you're going to have really good income, and that's just a byproduct of it. But what motivates me is freedom, having complete freedom to live life on your own terms. Like, tomorrow, if I wanted to go hop on a plane and go to California, then that's exactly what I would do. I would find the next flight out. I don't have an employer or a boss to tell me that I can't take time off. I would just go hop on the plane, and obviously, the income that a good trader can make allows you to do those things. So that's really nice, but it should never be about money. It should be about freedom to live your life ever how you want and just not be a slave to anyone. Um, yeah, I'll make it to California soon. I would like for COVID to clear up a little bit, and then I'll definitely be coming out to California because I would love to visit the place. Um, let's see. So I trade low float stocks primarily. You know, penny stocks, a loose term for penny stocks is generally most things under $5, but I like to use the term low float stocks because, I'll trade stocks anything under like 30 million or less. Now, ZOM, obviously, the float was really high, but it was such a cheap price that you're able to load up a lot of shares um, and make some nice profit. Um, yeah, so my setup, my desk is an absolute wreck right now, but I'll kind of show you what I'm working with. Um, so I keep Twitter pulled up right here. Um, this was the question that I was going over. Um, and then I have my charts right here. Then I have Trade Ideas Scanner right here. And like I said, this is the gainers that I'm usually looking at. I have a news source right here, and then I have Discord right here. So I got 4 screens right now in total. Um, and that's kind of what I'm looking at on a day-to-day basis. Um, it's you don't have to have 4 screens. If you just had, if I had to tell you guys the 2 most important things, I would say it's obviously having your charts pulled up and probably Trade Ideas screener. Now, if you're not over 25K in your account and you're not going to be day trading every day, probably hold off on trade ideas because it is like $100 a month, and it might not be worth your investment right now if you're only going to be doing 3 trades a week. I do think it's valuable, but I don't want you guys to be wasting your money when you don't have to be at this point in time. So when you're over 25K, then you know, do trade ideas. What news sources? I use scans. That's my news source. How do I build my watch list? I build my watch list by whatever's on the UpGapper list on trade ideas. So whatever's on the UpGapper list that tells me my theme. Obviously, I'm going to be watching those stocks, and then I'll go to FinViz and start looking at similar stocks in the same sector that might not be on the list yet. Is that freaking rocket? Hey, I would like everybody right now to go congratulate Rocket on becoming an OnlyFans user. When his trading is going slow, then what he does is he gets on OnlyFans.com and he sells content. So if you guys want to help someone out, go to Rocket Catching Bob's OnlyFans and help him out a little bit. Anyway, back to business. Um, what patterns do I find easy? Um, Patterns, I really just look for pullbacks and breakouts. A great account to follow for patterns would be Mullins Momentum. He posts a lot of great patterns on his Twitter. He's really good at identifying patterns. For me, I mainly just read the volume and I look for support bounces and resistance breaks. Just try to keep it really simple. Um, what's your Val rank? I'm not sure what that is. Um, do you continuously leverage your entire account as you compound your gains, or do you keep an average amount in your account? Yeah, so for the longest time, I traded with 30,000 in my account, and everything I would make in a day, I would draw it out and put it in the bank account and have 30,000 the next day to start over with. Um, and obviously, trading with a $30,000 account, it would make it very difficult to have a $73,000 day like I did today. Um, so what I did is I scaled up slowly. Like I went from a $30,000 account to a $50,000 account. I just started letting my gains add up, and then when I got to 50,000, I started withdrawing and putting more money in the bank, and I traded with 50 for a while. Um, and then I went from 50 to 75, 75 to 100, stayed there a while. And then, obviously now I've scaled up to 300. So I'll probably stay here for a while and just, start putting profits in the bank and stay at 300 for a bit. And then maybe next month, I might grow to 500 or something like that. I just, I don't, I scale up kind of slow. But, I like to take it in steps. Let's see. Um, let's see. What else do we got? What time am I normally trading? I trade pre-market, so I'm not one of these crack addicts that are up at 4 a.m., but I get up at 8, and I start looking at things at 8 a.m., and that's when I start trading is 8 a.m., and I will trade until maybe around 4:30. I'll definitely trade through the entire market session, and I'll trade maybe 30 minutes into after hours and call it a day and just go usually to Outback, get my well done steak as burnt as I can get it, and then just do whatever for the rest of the evening. I don't trade options, so I only do stocks. Um, let's see. The registration of the offering on SNDL. Yeah, so my take on the registration of the offering on SNDL um, is a lot of the stocks that we trade have open offerings anyway. SNDL just kind of has that registration. Now they can offer anytime. It doesn't mean that they're going to, like, you know, tomorrow or the next day. They could, they have the option to do that now. But I think as long as the marijuana theme is hot, it'll be something that's in play. I mean, I'll keep trading it until they put the offering out. But just be aware that it is in place. They have the option to do it. So trade with stop losses on it. But as long as we have momentum there, then I'll trade it. When did I become a full-time trader? Like I said, I started trading in 2018. And I worked part-time while I was trading. I bartended at night. Um, that way, I could make money until I was able just to only be a trader. Um, let's see. Um, if I don't have a good gut feeling about the trade, then I'm not going to take it. I mean, obviously the setup and criteria has to be there, but if something's just telling you to not take the trade, then don't take the trade. I mean, sometimes your gut feelings are absolutely correct. If the setup's there, you still don't have to take the trade. That's the beauty about being a day trader is you're like a snake just hiding in the weeds, waiting for the perfect opportunity to strike. You're only exposed if you want to be exposed. So, I mean, if you don't feel like taking the strike, then definitely don't do it. Um, yeah, I went through the PDT pain. I had, like I was down to $500, and I had to make it work. How would you find the setups without trade ideas? Discord can be a good source to help you kind of see what's moving. Um, FinViz is going to be another great tool. Just log on to finviz.com and kind of see what the top gainers on FinViz are. It's going to be a little bit delayed. Um, it's going to be a little bit delayed, but you can still kind of see what's moving. Yeah, and the top gainers on Thinkorswim as well. Um, Glad to see Rocket is taking time away from his OnlyFans page to help. Just watch Rocket and Gary. I mean, we've had some good plays the last little bit. The market has, given us some good plays, so we just take advantage of it while it's there. Um, no, I don't exit full position on one given price. I'm scaling out on the way up, or I'll wait until my target is hit. I mean, sometimes I have a target and it just blows right through it, and now I'm still riding past my target. And if that's the case, just set a stop loss back down at your target. And if it does fall back down, then you're still getting out where you wanted to get out in the first place anyway. Let's see. Trying to catch up on some of these questions here. NACD, yeah, NACD was another good trade today. One sec, let me pull up NACD. And I do think NACD will still move tomorrow. So I traded NACD a little bit too today, and ended up with a total of right at 7,500 profit on NACD today. I, made some winning trades on it, and then there was a time or two that I took a hit on it and just went ahead and took my loss. Now, with NACD, it fits right into that price range that has been really hot lately. These stocks, kind of below 50 cents, they just have started getting insane volume and moving upwards to $1. And NACD is definitely one of those stocks right now. And it does have the weed angle behind it. So, with the governor of New York speaking today, talking about legalizing cannabis for New York, NACD definitely got some Momo from that. The same way with SNDL. NACD is very similar to SNDL, and it caught some nice Momo. And what I'm seeing on NACD right now is it closed right here almost 50 cents. So there's a really strong chance NACD can break above 50 cents tomorrow and maybe trend upwards to maybe 75 cents, maybe even $1 if the momentum is right. And that's, again, saying identifying the theme, kind of what's going on. Wheat stock started moving a little bit today. We had MJ at all-time highs today, and that was kind of bringing the weed sector up a little bit. So it's staying aware of that, um, and uh, just knowing the stocks that move with it. All in neck D at 4 a.m. Yeah, well, I can tell you, I will not be up at 4 a.m. But maybe around 8 a.m., when civilized people get up and start doing things, I might join you guys on it. But um, there's for me, I prefer my sleep these days. Um, I don't really use four times leverage. Right now. I'm just sticking with my 300K buying power. Um, but anyway, I got time to do a couple more questions. So there's like any really important things that you guys want to know, then go ahead and put those questions in there, and I'll kind of look through them and see what I think might be the most beneficial for you guys. How do you read the volume? So you want to have your time and sales on, and if you have really large orders coming through at prices on the ask, then that's increasing volume. If people are buying large shares on the ask, then that shows demand for the stock. People really want to get in before the price goes up higher, and that's reading the volume. Same way, if you have large orders being sold on the bid, then it's probably going to go down some. It could just be a pullback, but just be aware. Um, let's see. What patterns did I first start seeing? So I was always a big fan of the pullbacks. Those were always my favorites. Um, let's see. Um, what do you do when you don't trade as a hobby? Yeah, I mean, so I used to be an amateur MMA fighter, so that was a really nice hobby of mine. But COVID has kind of put a little bit of a damper on that. But I still go to the gym like 4 times a week, so that's a hobby of mine. Taking Madison out to Outback and feeding her so she doesn't bite my head off. That's another hobby. And I got really big into traveling. I just like to travel to different cities, explore around, and see things. Um, do you think removing the P&L from active trader helps? So I leave the P&L on. I just have it. Well, I mean, I do have it on mine. Sometimes even myself, sometimes I will trade the P&L. Like if I'm at a key level and on the profit on the day, sometimes I let that influence me. It shouldn't, but if as long as having the P&L doesn't really make you panic if you're in the red, then you're fine, in my opinion. Um, let's see. You look like a paintball guy. Um, let's see. How does someone end up with access to the trading floor? Just start making really good calls in the trader chat, and build a resume for yourself. Show that you can consistently take good trade after good trade, and people will start to notice. Um, let's see. Would you hold a trading session when I come to Cali? That might be a possibility. When I come to Cali, if there's enough interest in that, then we might look into something like that. Videos to learn the basics. I'm not really sure. I mean, I got some videos on my personal YouTube page that I feel like are beneficial. Because when I was learning how to day trade, I didn't find many free videos out there that really gave me the information that I needed. Maybe go through the videos that I have posted. If those help you, then great. If not, then I do think there's probably a couple good videos on Warrior Trading's page. I do think he is a good trader. So he probably, I don't know personally, but I'm sure he has something that might be of some help. Um, is it okay to skip pre-market? It's certainly okay to skip pre-market. It's okay to skip any time that you want. I mean, some people are better traders outside of pre-market. If you think pre-market is hurting you more than it's helping you, then skip it. If you're taking most of your losses in pre-market, then remove that from the equation. you're your own boss, you know? Um, let's see. How long did it take you until you could live off of trading? Um, definitely not my first year. Within the first year, I wouldn't have been able to at all. Um, let's see. Um, price action. Not necessarily like, if there's a theme that's moving and, like if it's a China day, then if I know some China stocks that also like to run hard, then I'll go ahead and go grab them on a sympathy play before the volume runs over there. So it's just about adjusting your trading to what's happening on the day. It really is different every single day, guys. There's not going to be one certain strategy that you can do every single day that's going to work in every market. Sometimes buying the dips isn't going to work. Sometimes we're hit with days that stocks just keep selling off and off and off, and there's no dips. So that might not work on any given day. But it's just adjusting to what's happening on any given day. Um, I'm not in on ACAM. No. Do I have watch lists for each theme? I don't really have one built. I mean, it's pretty much at this point, they're just in my head as to what stocks move with each theme. Um, so let's see. Let me try to find one more for you guys. Well, I'll do this one and then one more. Do you recommend newbies to move away from Robinhood? Yes, please leave Robinhood right now. I don't know why that's still a thing. Go to Webull before Robinhood. Webull opens at 4 a.m. and you can trade with the crack addicts. Um, what minimum volume? I really don't have a minimum volume. It's just if it's significant volume, and it's making a clear cut trend, then I'll trade it. Like if there's only like 10,000 shares or something like that traded, then I'm probably going to stay out unless, well, my dog, unless God Himself is telling me, hey, you should buy this. Then, I want more volume to actually show me that it's going to go. But other than that, guys, if there's any question that I didn't get to tonight, I'm sorry. I'll make a post on Twitter in a second. And for some of you that I didn't answer your question, oh, yeah, you already know if you know my dog's name is Clover. Um, but if I didn't answer your question, then just tweet it on my post that I'm about to make here, and I'll try to go through and answer all those questions directly on there if I didn't get to you tonight. But anyway, guys, let's be up and at it at like 8 a.m. tomorrow. I mean, if you want to be up sooner than that, great. But I'll see you guys at 8, looking for some more hot setups for you guys, and we'll bank again tomorrow. All right, see you guys.